Hello, welcome to another Scicon review video. Today I will attempt to once again mangle the Italian language. I've got some sunglasses today and they are from, I'm not sure how to say it, Scicon. Italian manufacturer. They make all kinds of luggage, sunglasses and other accessories for cycling, well, and other sports obviously as well. But what we're interested in is they've sent us some of their Aerobeam and Aeroshade titanium sunglasses. And what was very nice of them as well is they sent it in this what they call a rebag. I'll check on the site to see if these are actually available yet. But basically what they've done is they've made little sort of shopping utility bags using offcuts from their other products. So each one will be, individual depending on what bit of spare fabric they have at the time. But I just thought it was quite nice to show you that. Like I said, I'll have a look, see if it's actually available yet, what the prices are and things like that. But yeah, quite handy for sort of like when you're just hanging around and got stuff to carry, maybe at your next sportive or race, and when they're handing out goodies and things like that, you've got a bag to keep it in. So the Aerobeam and the Aeroshades, you might have seen them on a certain Mr. Pogacar's face when he's standing on a podium or two. The Aeroshades are the newer ones. The Aerobeam has been around for a while. It's got a smaller lenses in comparison to the Aeroshades, which are sort of the deeper ones that are much more sort of fashionable now. They come in multiple types of lenses. You can get photochromatics, you can get different colours, clears, yellows, high contrast, all that kind of stuff. You can also get different optical inserts. So you've got an option where you either have, I think it's the RX, where you sort of basically clip in a pair of glasses inside the sunglasses. They sort of clip in to the frame. You can have the actual lens to be fully optical, so to your own prescription, and obviously that would have to be done by a specific optician, and the RX inserts, you would also have to get them done by an optician. They also do, interestingly, a reader version, which is in the bottom part of the lens. They can basically put two little inserts, so like a little pair of reading glasses, so when you're looking down at your Garmin or your phone, or when sort of reading through some information and you've got your glasses on, if you're of my age, you can actually read it and you can actually see it. So that's quite a nice handy little touch. So you've got lots of different options when it comes to Scicon and their glasses. Once you've chosen the lens shape and the style of arm and all that kind of stuff, then you have to decide, do you want an optical insert? What colour do you want? There's lots of options, lots of choices. What's quite nice as well is they do these little sort of soft bags that they come in that can also double, got a bit of Velcro here, as a sort of saddle bag. So once your glasses are out, you can repurpose this if you want as a saddle bag. But it's I find it quite a nice item. The inside is sort of got a kind of fake velvet feel to it, and a sort of little separate pocket in there. It just seems a bit too nice to be a tool bag, but yeah, you could use it as a tool bag, and then you've got the usual soft carry case as well. But and you've got a little carabiner there as well if you want, with the Scicon logo on. So that's quite nice. But let's what I'll do is I'll get a close up, show you what's actually inside, and then I'll let you see me wearing them and you can see what they look like on my face to get an idea of size and stuff like that. So let's get inside the bags and the box and see what you get. Okay, so let's have a look at our glasses. We're going to start with the Aerobeams first, as I've been actually using these, so all the usual packaging stuff's been removed, but let's just show you the little close-up of that bag. First of all, you've got that little carabiner there. You've got a Velcro strap, so you can loop that and put it under your saddle. And then, as I say, as you can see, it's got like a sort of plush velvet finish. A little separate, let me just show you that, a little separate pocket in there as well to keep any bits and pieces. So I mean, if you're just using it for your glasses, you could keep your spare lenses in there, so they're sort of protected and safe, and got this nice soft anti-scratch finish to everything as well. So if it's not in the bag, at least it'll be protected. And then you've got the bag itself, which is quite nice. It's also got a separate little pocket for keeping your lenses in, any spare lenses. It's got some nice sort of logoed pull tab there to keep everything secure. Let's have a look inside then at the actual glasses. Like I say, all the usual packaging's been removed because I have been using these. Let's get them the right way up. There you go. And you can see they're not, they got a nice sort of, it's difficult to describe it, like a reddish clear tint to them. These are kind of good for all weather. They sort of, is it photochromatic or photochrome? Anyway, they change depending on what the lighting conditions are like, but I've found these quite good in all conditions basically. We haven't had any super bright sunlight yet because this is the UK and it's February and the weather isn't great. The reason for the Aerobeam titanium part of the name is that the arms here are titanium. I mean, they've got a soft rubber tips obviously to them, but the actual metal inside is it's a titanium frame, which keeps it obviously very light. The main part of the frame is plastic. The tips you can sort of bend to shape as you need. Also the nose piece, let me just show you that. You could bend that to get it just right for your face, and then if you want to change lenses, it's quite simple. You lift up the nose piece there, can you see that? Lift up the nose piece and gently flex, and out comes the lens. So you've got the lens there. Let's see if I can do this from behind the camera without making it I mean, it's actually quite easy to do, it's just that I'm doing it a bit awkwardly from behind the camera. That pops in there, and then the nose piece, there we go, pops down again. And you notice you've got a couple of little vents there and there just to help. I haven't had any misting yet. I think the lenses do have coatings on them to prevent that. You've also got a couple of vents here as well, and you've got this kind of nice frosted border that runs around the outside, and a logo, photochromic. There you go, can I just show that? There you go, photochromic on the bottom there. So that's telling you so that as the light intensity changes, they darken and lighten depending on how you're going. So that's the Aerobeam, sorry, I'm getting confused. Aerobeam titanium. And like I said, there's different, like many different types of lens you can buy, colours, types. So it's, you know, take your pick, and the price will obviously vary depending on what you're getting. So that's the Aerobeam. Let's put him back in his little pack there. So like I say, obviously, I mean, some people might prefer a rigid bag, just to stop them from getting crushed and stuff like that, but so far I found this to be, you know, pretty good. Right, next one is, like I say, fresh out of the box, so let's have a look what's inside. Okay, so a box within a box. That's the main box there. Let's gently place that on the floor. Then you got the Scicon logo. There you go, it's telling you what we should expect inside. Frame colour, white metal matte, lenses, multi-mirror, filter category 3. And some other bits and pieces there. Let's have a look at what the best way to get into the box is. Let's go straight in. There you go, another soft case again. Let's just show you that. So you've got your nice big Scicon, let's call it Scicon, I'm going with Scicon. Skin, which I presume is this material here, it's like a synthetic. Again, you've got the little Scicon carabiner there, dangling your keys off, or for attaching that somewhere so that it's not going to go missing. Velcro strap. Let's have a look inside. Let's put that bit away so you can see. Okay, we apparently have some high contrast lenses. It's telling us it's the Aeroshade 2.0 titanium. And there's the bit telling us that the arms can be bent. Basically, let's put it the right way up. The arms can be bent inwards and upwards, so you know, to get to help just personalize it to you. You can also bend the nose piece in, And you can do this thing called a horizon adapt, which not sure what that is. We'll have to have a look at that. Basically, it's adjusting the way it sits on your face. I suppose it depends on how you, and again, it tells you how to remove the lens. You've got a little fender that protects the bottom of the lens if you need, and also if you need any inserts. A sticker, a Scicon sticker, some more bump, and a no fog tissue, and a wipe lens cleaning. So basically some cleaning stuff there, which is nice to have. So let's have a look in the little carry case. So we've got our usual soft bag. Again, it's got a second pocket for keeping your lenses in, and it's all nicely logoed up. We've got a spare lens, which is like a pink. I suppose that would be a low light. Let's get it out so you can see that. There you go. So if you want to be, what they call it when you've got a rosy tint to the world, or something, looking at everything through rose tinted glasses, that will be those ones. So they can slide into that pocket there, so you know that when you need them, they'll be nice and safe and they won't be scratched or dirty. So that's quite handy to have. And then we have the glasses themselves. Okay, nice snap to them. Again, remove these. There we go. You've got another little tag there telling you it's titanium. So yes, these again, these arms here are titanium. The main part is plastic, and these have like you can see, a white nose. Do you call it a nose bumper? Nose piece. And these are plain. You can see these are just a standard grey, no sort of colourful tint to them. And so you can change if you need to. The nose piece is flexible, so you can change that. You can also bend these ends up, down and in, depending on how comfortable you need it to be. As to what the horizon lift is, I'll have to have a look at that and explain to you later how it actually works. But that's the glasses, how they look. Now let's get them on and see what they look on my face. Okay, so here's the all-important try them on test. So you've got the Aeroshades first. I've got the rose tinted ones on, as you can see. So they've got a much deeper lens than the Aerobeams. They've also got this horizon adjust, so the nose piece you can push up or pull down. It's only, I think they say 5mm, and it just affects the way it sits on your face as you're sort of down looking up, whether you see the top of the frame there. So it depends on how, obviously, the shape of your face. Everyone's going to be different, but it's just another bit of so like I say, I'm down now, I can't see the top of the frame there. That's in the down position. So it depends, like I say, on the shape of your face. Everyone's going to be different. There's plenty of adjustability in these. Like I say, nose pieces can be flexed, the tips can be flexed in and out, up and down. Taking the lens out, it's the first time it's always quite hard. I've done this a couple of times now just to loosen it off. So you pull down there, that sort of breaks it open here, and then you can always gently flex the frame out, and it pulls out, and you've got the separate bits like that. The nose piece you can just, again, gently pull out, and that comes separate, and then putting it back in again is a matter of just slotting it in. The first time, just to make you aware, it will be very stiff, and you will be convinced you're about to snap the frame, but don't worry, it is okay. And again, you put the corners in first, marry up the middle, there's a couple of tabs there, and it all slots back together again. Of course, your lenses are now dirty because you've been touching them. But anyway, that's what it looks on. Show you both sides. Yeah, they feel nice. I mean, with them on, I have to really, I mean, this is probably the only bit of phone I can slightly see in the periphery of my vision, but if I'm riding the bike and I'm like this, it disappears. So yeah, and it extends all the way around quite far, so hopefully you won't get any annoying wind in your eyes. And then with the Aerobeams, as you can see, these are smaller. I've been using these. I've used these on and off road in fairly mucky weather, changeable sort of grey skies, blue skies, and they've been really good. I mean, the best thing I can say about a pair of glasses is you don't notice them once they're on. I mean, that's what you want, don't you? And with these, that's very much the case. With these on, I can see slightly that bottom there, but again, the coverage feels pretty good. When I've been out riding, they've been easy to wear, and as I showed you, changing the lenses is quite simple. You pop that down. Again, it will be stiff the first time you try it, but you know, don't worry, they are pretty tough, and they are light. I'll put some weights up, but they're light. I mean, you won't notice them on. So there you go. Scicon. I've got to get an Italian to come and tell me how to pronounce these things. I assume it's Scicon. Aeroshade Aerobeam glasses. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you later.